Johnny Depp became a household name in the 1980s as a teen idol. He first gained recognition for his role in 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Depp followed this up with roles in films such as Private Resort and Platoon. His turn as a young romantic lead in the 1987 romantic comedy, Cry Baby, established him as a leading man. In 1988, he starred in the classic Edward Scissorhands. This began Depp's transition to playing more eccentric characters. During the latter part of the decade, Depp became associated with excellence in acting by appearing in films like Benny and June, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and Dead Man. In 1991, he showed the world he could truly take on a daring role by playing the eccentric title character in the cult classic Edward Scissorhands. In addition to these films, Depp co-starred in the horror comedy, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the adventure-western, Don Juan DeMarco. By the end of the decade, Depp had established himself as one of the most respected actors in Hollywood. In 1999, Depp was nominated for his first Academy Award for Best Actor for his portrayal of the eccentric Edward D. Wood, Jr. in the biopic Ed Wood. Even in the late 80s, Depp had proven his ability to become any character he was asked to portray. As the decade advanced, his range only expanded further to include comedies, thrillers, and fantastical and horror films. Johnny Depp's mainstream success in the 1980s was incredible, considering his breakout film was the Gothic-themed A Nightmare on Elm Street. Depp went on to appear in some of the most iconic films from the era, from teen romantic comedies to dark horror fantasies and even westerns. Throughout the 80s, Depp demonstrated his willingness to take on daring and eccentric roles, which ultimately cast him as one of the most beloved actors of the era. In films like Don Juan DeMarco and The Nightmare Before Christmas, Johnny Depp portrayed roles that were unlike any others seen before. While Depp started off the decade as a teen idol, he quickly evolved and showed his full range of acting skills, from light-hearted comedy to his darker roles. Johnny Depp's career in the 1980s was a model of modern Hollywood success. His willingness to take on diverse roles leading to becoming one of the most recognized icons of the decade. Depp went on to prove his diversity in roles in the 1990s, but his 80s career would be his launch pad to international stardom. He shifted from starring in teen movies to leading dramatic roles, and left work on teen magazines to studio advertisement contracts. As a result of his varied performances in the 1980s, Depp has become a legend of film acting. His willingness to break the mold and take on unique roles allowed him to define the decade's evolution of the Hollywood star persona. Johnny Depp is credited with ushering in a new style of acting that hinged on his willingness to take risks within the confines of the Hollywood system. While his first films of the 80s were light-hearted romances, Depp quickly shifted his focus to more serious roles, which gave him the opportunity to display his abilities as an actor. His success in the 80s was an indication of what Depp's career would become and was marked by his nomination and eventual achievement of an Academy Award nomination. Depp's ability to grow and challenge himself in a variety of genres throughout the 80s set him apart from the pack and made him a star in Hollywood.